Hey guys, Jimmy Bremner and Dexter, the boy, CTOA around the urban trail in the 416. Forgive me today because I don't have my mic with me, it's my other bag. So I'm going to do this close and personal and hopefully you can hear me. Again, I apologize, I'm a very soft-spoken individual, but today it's getting cooler. You can feel winter coming on here. We've got a pretty strong wind coming from the northwest at us, and it's cool. So I have on my long johns, and I just can't take the damp and the cold anymore. So I put my inner layer on my base layer pretty early in the season. Have that on. I've got a turtleneck and my scarf. Of course, I've got headgear. I've got some gloves in this light bag that I'm carrying today. And of course I have a poncho for shelter, or my, again, wind cover, rain break, that type of thing. So what am I talking about today? I'm going to talk about fire a little bit, and like what's luck? Well, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So when you're out and you're patrolling around or just out for your walk, and just in case you might need a fire, especially on a day like today. I'll tell you something, the worst conditions to light a fire in is obviously when it's raining, damp, wet. And the second one is when it's really windy like today, right? So I can't build one here, but there's something called a Dakota fire hole. And simply what you do is you dig a hole, maybe, about a foot deep, 8-10 inches deep. In front of that, with the wind coming towards the main spot you've dug up, you dig another hole, and then you connect them, a little tunnel underneath, so they're connected now. So what happens with that driving wind, it'll go down that hole and it will push air and oxygen to the fire that you start, in the intended fire pit there, right? And it burns really hot. And if you're worried about like your signature and things like that, like I said, if you're worried about that, you can light a fire close to a tree, and the smoke will go up it, and not as likely you'll be spotted. And then with the Dakota fire hole, it's underground, so you can't see the flame, and it doesn't really smoke too much. So now the preparation. So again, I'm out for my walk. So what am I looking for? Birch bark. Okay. I believe there's a chemical in this called betulin. If it's not correct, please correct me. Send me a comment on that. I don't take this off of living birch trees. There's a number of them here that are down and they're rotting, and they're still giving up this life-saving material. So I take a bit of it. Other things you can do with it is you can get pine sap and then peel a strip off, and you can actually use it like a band-aid, because the pine sap will stick it to your skin, and it works as an antiseptic and keeps that dirt out of that wound. So it has many uses. Of course, you can build a canoe with it. Pioneer in bushcraft, a gentleman called Ray Mears, British dude, and he does a lot about Canada. And so that said, in one episode, he actually goes to northern Ontario and he builds a birch bark canoe with an indigenous person that's been doing it like for generations, and it's quite fascinating, and it's a really he does a really good job, I must say. Okay, so other things I'm looking for. Punkwood. Okay, so punkwood is basically a rotting tree. Now this, when I picked it up, you could actually wring water out of it. I've had it for about 45 minutes, an hour, close to my body. It's dry now. About dry now, and I know I could get a flame going with this, and if nothing else, it would like charcoal, and I could use it to carry fire from one place to another. Other things that I'm looking for when I'm out, again, birch bark. Certainly I'm looking for, there's a little bit of it here. Certainly I'm looking for the bark off of wild grapevine, and it does a really good job of helping you start that fire, to get your tinder going, to get the kindling going, and so on. But again, wild grapevine, great stuff. Pine needles are fantastic. Again, they when they're brown, they go up pretty good. Again, almost like gasoline. So you got to be careful if you're adding a bunch of that to your fire. With that said, again, you want to take things with you. You know, you have in your bag, obviously you've got a candle, because a candle can extend flame. Wax candle does everything for your lips. It just lubricates the tools that you have. Does a lot of good things. Something I carry with me, of course, I have a ferro rod. This is something called a Smith's tool, and it's a sharpener. There's a diamond file, and it has a whistle, and it has a small ferro rod in it. So if the lighter doesn't work, I can use that. And of course, you always have to have a lighter. Yeah, Bic is probably the best, but like I say, I buy these ones at the dollar store, so they're like 3 or 4 for $1, which is crazy. So, and I've never had one fail. So that's pretty much it what I have for again, fire. Again, before you light a fire, you should probably think about, what if I have to put it out, and what's the fire conditions, right? Because you don't want to get into a jackpot with a fire out of control. One last thing I'll say is, I have denims on right now, and if I take my bushcraft knife and I scrape it on the denim, what will happen is you will build up small fibers, right? That again will help you get a fire going. So there's many ways to skin a cat. I believe that most of the things that puzzle us, the answers like right around us. Just have to look and start to think about that. Other ways I could light a fire is there's batteries in Dexter's e-collar, and certainly I could make that to a sparking device. So there's all kinds of different ways you can do things. The thing is to be mentally prepared, and then again your base layer, and like I say, pick up things along the way. The other, it's always garbage, unfortunately. It needs ravines, but again, I found this piece of, I don't know, it's like a glue stick, but it's plastic, and again, I can scrape that and get some fire starter out of that. And plastic burns, as you know, so there's all kinds of different things that we can do to get that fire going. So that said, I know my videos are they're not as frequent, but fall is a time when we all have a lot of things to do, right? Like getting the house ready for winter and so on, right? Your vehicle's prepped, all of those things. So please, if there's anything that you want to see, please comment, please subscribe, share, like, and notification. I know the sound's not so good today because I have my mic in my other bag, and so it is what it is today. So thanks all the time for watching and sharing and commenting. It really helps me out, means a lot to me. And so now it's Jimmy Bremner, Dexter the boy, CTOA on the urban trail, and we're out.